In the summer of 1994, I was a college student and part of the Navy ROTC program. And I found myself in the south of France as part of summer training crews, which is pretty good duty if you can get it, for a week. Now, a week in a sunny Mediterranean town like Cannes or Nice can get pretty expensive, as you can imagine. And I quickly tapped out my modest bank account. And even though at the age of 18, my father had encouraged me not to call him for money anymore, I did. And if you're here, I'll bet you've gotten a similar call. Either written a check, sent a Venmo, or covered a one-time bill for your grown son or daughter in the past year. And if you're wondering whether that makes you an outlier or a cautionary tale, let me put your mind at ease. It doesn't. You're firmly in the majority. And yes, even my dad sent the money. But supporting adult children is a real financial commitment. It's not just a line item you slip in and forget about. Today, let's cut through the guilt, the second guessing, and the media commentary, of which I've been a part, and talk about 3 things you need to know as you help your adult children financially. First of all, yeah, it's totally normal, but it's also a big deal. So let's start with the facts. If you're helping out, you've got plenty of company. According to Pew Research, around 60% of parents with adult children ages 18 to 34 gave them some type of financial help in 2024. And this is not just the wealthy few. These are ordinary, hardworking families all over the country. So why is this now the norm? Well, the math is hard to ignore. Since 1980, housing costs are up about 400%, healthcare by 700%, and college and childcare costs have gone up tenfold. Meanwhile, after adjusting for inflation, incomes are barely up at all, about 18% over the same period. The expectation that every 20 or 30-something will move out, get a job, get married, and buy a house right away, well, it's no longer the reality for most American families. In 1974, nearly half of young adults had hit those milestones. Today, it's less than a quarter. So take heart. If you're still paying the phone bill, covering groceries, or sending an occasional loan through, you're not alone. But here's the big catch. Those amounts matter. Whether it's a dinner here or there or a down payment, the dollars add up. So while it's totally normal to help, all those dollars may not make sense unless it's part of your financial picture, unless it is part of your financial plan, and not just a string of unplanned bailouts. Supporting adult children is the new normal, but make sure your generosity fits with your own plan. Now, there are limits and risks, and you need boundaries. So let's talk about risk first. More and more, I've seen families flip the script entirely. They're deciding to give during their life instead of just waiting to pass on assets as an inheritance. That can be a very powerful act of love, especially as baby boomers prepare to pass down trillions of dollars in the coming decades. But here's the reality. Being generous shouldn't mean sacrificing your own security. Nobody wants the story to end with the parents relying on the kids for support later in life because they ran out of money. I've witnessed this firsthand. A string of just this once help outs can quietly eat away at your own retirement or emergency reserves, especially if you're not tracking it. And before you know it, you might be the one needing to ask for help or making hard choices about your own lifestyle. The most loving thing that you can do is protect your own financial independence. Think back to that airline safety speech you get when you board an airliner. Secure your own mask before assisting others. And that principle works just as well with your nest egg. If your own margins are getting thin, it's time to take a breath and have an honest conversation. The goal is for everyone, parents and kids, to stay out of each other's spare rooms in the retirement years. It's also smart to keep taxes and estate plans in mind if you're making sizable gifts. A plan, a real written strategy for giving protects you and it protects your family. So be generous, but your own financial safety comes first. Boundaries aren't stingy, they're just savvy. Communication is everything, and data can be your friend. Last but absolutely not least, make sure you talk about the money openly, clearly, and ideally early. Most adult children have no idea what your true financial situation looks like. They might think retirement is sorted out when it's stretched, or assume you're struggling when you're not. The only way to bridge that gap is with honest, proactive conversations. If you can help, be clear about what you can do, how often, and why. And if you can't or shouldn't, bring the numbers. Sometimes seeing the math, if we keep giving at this rate, we'll need help ourselves in 10 years, makes a no easier for the child to understand and accept. Setting realistic expectations helps your children build their own path to independence. And if you're unsure about your own limits, work with a financial professional who can help you run the numbers. Stress test your plan and bring some objectivity, maybe even credibility, to your family conversations. The bottom line is most families want to help each other. But having a plan is the only way to make that supportive, not stressful, for everyone involved. Clarity and communication now can prevent hard choices and harder conversations down the line. A few final comments. Helping adult children isn't failure. It's a reasonable response to a world that's changed quickly and dramatically. But your own plan, your boundaries, and your willingness to talk openly will determine whether your legacy is one your kids celebrate or one that leads to you asking for a place on their couch in retirement.